Welcome to Adapt One. This week, we interview Marnix Rekkers, a rising star in the world of industrial and vehicle design. Marnix recently joined Adapt One and is an amazing addition to our already stellar cast of digital artists from all over the world. Discover the wonderful world of Marnix Rekkers with us.
That was the moment where I got the art book Cosmic Motors from Daniel Simon for my birthday when I was still studying graphic design, just straight out of high school. I got my first computer and you got to do some digital work with it. And at that school, we started to get really into how digital art works, what exists, and you started finding all these cool things online because it really started booming with all these special websites and everything. And then I found something really cool because I like starships, I like really out there designs, I really like things that could be possible, and maybe that's because I grew up with Star Wars, where everybody basically was able to have a starship and everything works and is ramshackled and everything. But it felt so believable. That might have been a direct influence, maybe for many artists as well. But it was that moment where I really found Cosmic Motors. That there was this very nothing like it was out there in terms of art and design. And so when they asked me what I wanted for my birthday, I wanted that book, and I've been poring over that book day in, day out, and I didn't know that car design was an actual job, that you can go to a school for car design. If I knew it back then, I probably would have done that instead of what I've been doing. But I got that book and I saw all of these amazing designs, and I don't know how or when, but I wanted to do something like that. I wanted to do that, what that book did, what Daniel Simon made. And that's probably the moment where I really started going into digital art and design and practicing practicing the design stuff. I think that was that 2014, maybe around that time. So pretty long ago.
Ask a question to Daniel Simon. What would it be? If he was in front of you, what would you ask him?
Oh God, that's a good question. I'll just ask what kind of beer he likes. If we could just
really, what would you ask him? I want to know.
Like I would know. Like the thing is, probably everybody is like, how did you get there? But I kind of already know because he made a few interviews already.
Don't ask him what brush he uses. Is gonna turn away.
No, I don't. And if I say what's your inspiration, he's probably also gonna say Sid Mead, because I also have art books of Sid Mead because he also inspires me. So I don't think that the question, a simple question like that, would get me a satisfying answer or the answer that I might really want. So I'd rather then have more like then I think a question that really grounds. To me, he's a celebrity. He has this big awesome. So I probably ask a question that's very human, and just point. Like what's your favorite type of beer? Like, you just ground the entire thing. Also for myself, like he might think it's just a simple question, and for me, it's like he's a good designer, but he's also still human. You know, that's probably why I want that to.
It's really clever because it's an invitation for a longer conversation.
Exactly.
Clever. If you could go back in time and work on any film or video game ever made, and you could work alongside any designer, what project would it be and who would it be with?
Back in time.
From Blade Runner, I don't know, 2001: Space Odyssey, Star Wars, you name it, Tron.
That's a good. I think The Matrix. I know James Spake also worked on it, but the thing, The Matrix is something really cool with its sci-fi designs. Because all of their designs, all of their creatures, all of the machines in that world, the humans are very utilitarian, just it has to function. But the robots themselves, the machines, they aren't evil in a way. They don't like humans, so so all of their robots, they have all been designed to look like insects. The one thing that almost most people actually are a bit more repulsed by, and generally stay more away from insects, and that's what I think is so fascinating about it. Like, if I can get some work experience or work with some of the people who were able to design those things, that will be the dream. I think the real, mostly it's just me doodling. I've always been doodling, but I've never really been learning to draw properly. I think that was when I went to study game development, where we actually really were pushing on getting good at visual quality, where we learned the basics of drawing, where we just had to learn to draw perspective, not to use perspective, but actually learn to draw it. We had to learn the principles of it. So even, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm good at drawing perspective, but I understand the principles, that I can get a good estimation of skill and everything. And I think that's fundamentally is that strength and skill I learned while studying for my bachelor's and studying game development. Because Star Citizen takes the next step where you don't just pilot the starship. You really go into a starship with everything there. They have toilets in them. They have sleeping quarters in them. You have to manually get into a gun turret. They have almost none of it feels like clutter, even though some designs are extremely outlandish, some are extremely basic, but everything has this way of thinking through all the designs they have in the game. Because players need to be interacting with it, and they take this step so much further that it's not just you get in and you fly. You have a cockpit, you have a cargo bay, you can access that cargo bay, you can get in and out, you can walk all around it, and you can shoot a big starship down, and then while it's drifting in space you can get inside it. Maybe all the players are dead inside, maybe there's some loot in there, and you have the ability to do so. And it's so well thought out in terms
immersion.
Yes, it adds that extra level of immersion, because you know everything has a function and you can interact with basically everything, and this allows you, and it informs the design principles of everything in that project. And that's what I find fascinating about it.
How do you see the emergence of AI right now? It's like one of the latest technology right now that seems to be, do you use AI in any way in your work?
I have tried using it, mostly trying to explore it, see what the possibilities are, but I don't enjoy using it. It removes that one thing that makes designing and art so fun. It's done for you, and that's not even getting into the legal issue about how those systems work, which is just stealing other people's stuff and then forcing it together. It removes a lot of joy of the process. And
but do you feel threatened by it?
No, not really. Even with all the hype specifically around the AI and everybody being threatened, and everybody, I see a lot of people being rightfully scared, but also misinformed about it. And the funny thing is, we practiced it at one of the studios I worked for to see if we were able to use it in any capacity, because of course there are going to be shareholders who want you to use it because it's the big new thing, even though they don't understand it. And we consistently found out it's absolutely not usable in any meaningful capacity. It's just barely above finding references on Google, just searching for certain images or trying to find certain things. But even then, with the AI you have to be careful, because it's mostly nonsensical, even though it can look really good. that a lot of people who are afraid of AI don't understand why they should be afraid of AI. But that the real reason is that some people are very shitty and you don't want to work with them. But there's maybe nobody else who can do your job. But now suddenly AI can do that, and now you cannot be a shitty person anymore, or you will be replaced with AI. And I think that's where the real threat of AI is coming in.
I'm old enough to remember the days when 3D was coming. Toy Story, the first Toy Story came out, and people in, I guess, 2D art, 2D animation were panicking that what's going to happen to us. We're going to be replaced by computers, and I think there's an analogy with that.
Yeah, but I think that's not an entirely similar. That's not an entirely linear comparison, and that's one thing. I also see a lot of people now. Especially in concept art, pushing for you must use 3D because of these things. And personally, even with a lot of newcomers and people getting hired into pretty high positions who cannot use 3D or are very bad at using 3D, who only do 2D art, it's not. They don't. It's not like they despise 3D, but they don't just like using it, and I get it because it's quite technical. But they are very skilled in what they do. They know how to communicate their designs properly, so they don't need to use AI to get what they want.
I think Daniel Simon was one of the first one to really master the art of 3D and using it into his own 2D ball designs, I guess, his workflow.
Yeah, he did it geniusly. That's one of the things I only found out quite late while being a fan for his work for so long, that he already in the beginning used a lot of 3D in his sketches as well. And that's when you look at his design works and how he managed to figure out a lot of his ideas, it's genius. But it's not like he lets the computer do everything. He just manages to understand why he can use something like this. Yes. So for 3D and for 2D and for AI, if you don't know what you're doing, it doesn't matter what you use.
Yeah. Where do you see the value of a platform like Adapt that will establish, like, for example, an international minimum wage? Do you see it making it easier to compete against, like, other countries, stuff like that? How do you see that, like, helping the community?
I think it will help a lot of artists to stop undercutting their own margins and their own value. That a lot of artists won't be in a downward spiral of trying to outcompete each other for prices just in order to get work, and that will force other companies to reevaluate who they hire and why you hire them. Like, I think maybe the first year a lot of people will be afraid of it, and some companies might not want to use it because they cannot try and exploit people anymore. But that will also make it a lot easier for a lot of other people and other companies to get better results, find better people, find the people they need, and develop better relations among each other. I think that's one of those things where it would definitely help. Because I've seen artists who do great work just fighting for a $50 commission. Well, and it's sad to see. It's like, yeah, but otherwise they don't hire me, and that's
kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see, because a lot of artists don't have good business skills, and I get that because you like to do art, but you should not undercut yourself, because it's not only hurting yourself, it also hurts other artists as well. Because I think that's where Adapt really can be the difference for a lot of people.
We're also going to try to foster, like, mentorship through more senior and junior artists. Where do you see the value of mentorship? Would you see the value of mentoring someone or being mentored by someone?
I think that once you have the basics of art, I think a mentor can really help you push to get somewhere. And I'm doing a mentorship as well at the moment, and it's really helping me think about the things I design a lot better, because you just learn a lot of things you might never encounter if you have to do it all by yourself. And I've also been a guest teacher for a while, and there was something very satisfying when people listen to you and learn from you and are capable of applying what they've learned from you, and they can come up with some of the inspiring things and really cool work. And one of those students, I was where I was a guest teacher. He now works at a board game company, and he does a lot of cool stuff there. And it's really awesome to see that they were capable of learning from you. And I don't know what it is. It just feels very nice. That's why people want to be a teacher, I think, because you can really inspire other people, and I think that's a fascinating. That's such a great feeling, you know.
If you could find anyone as a mentor, like a living artist right now that could mentor you, if you could ask them, to take you under their wing, who would that be? Daniel Simon?
I would say Daniel Simon, yeah. Although there are other people I would. It's like there's maybe 10 people, but if I could, but having Daniel Simon as a mentor would be amazing. But there's this one thing that's what scares me, is that if we don't vibe on the same level, then it would probably be a very bad mentorship. Like, that's the one thing I did notice. No matter how cool somebody is, you need this. It's not just about the knowledge itself. It's about if you work well with this person, if this person can actually help you. Like, I have done a mentorship with a good artist who was really good at what he does, but we did not click at any level in that. So it was wasted time, I think, because even though he was doing a great job, we didn't really vibe on the same level, and that's the one thing I'm afraid of when saying Daniel Simon as having the mentor, that we might not vibe on the same level.
What would be your dream job other than Star Citizen, for example? What would be your, what would you like to be like in 5 years?
In 5 years, maybe working on the next big science fiction film, like the new Dune, or not Dune, but the next big sci-fi thing. I think that would be the most awesome thing.